Right, welcome everyone to another episode of the Love Island cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Felt, and I am the only host today, unfortunately, guys. We did have a guest lined up. Dave, sadly, is away working, so he can't make the show, so you've just put up with me and my little rant. So I do hope you enjoy it, because we're going all in on Michael. Just before I do that, I want to thank Joe yesterday from I Secretly Recorded My Boyfriend podcast. Really nice of Joe to come on. Great chat with her. We had a good talk. From the back of what we talked about off Joe, Dave has actually sent in an email, which I thought might be better to read out the start today. I miss Dave's and he's not here, so he's going to be here in spirit. So here we go. Email's entitled Scorchio. Hey, Chris. Dave here, sneaking a quick message out from a secret location near the villa. With a bit of luck, I'll be going in later this week. We just have to iron out some minor disagreements with my application. Apparently, a barrel isn't the same as a six-pack. Go figure. Anyway, a few points on tonight. Michael's behaviour towards Amber tonight was bang out of order. He's coming across as bitter, angry, and he's constantly looking to blame someone else for his problems. Clearly must be an Everton fan. Well, that's obviously subjected, David, because I clearly say he was a Liverpool fan. But as a Manchester United fan, not really got much grounds to talk at the moment, so we'll quickly move on from that. His speech when he got voted to stay was weird, and it sounded like it was him who got voted out. With that said, Joanna clearly has got a nasty streak in her and think those two deserve each other. Finally, seeing as you bottled it yesterday, I'm going to stick my neck out and say, snog Maura, marry Amber, pie Anna. And he's also put teabag Molly May, but I think that may be a different type of programme you're going for there, David. But I'll be honest, that is actually my choices as well. And I'm not just saying it because you're not here, Dave. I did get the all clear from Samantha to go with it. I didn't want a punch, which I thought I was going to get. So Dave and myself are not far away. Now, one of the points we've got to talk about today is Michael. Me personally, I thought he was a great guy. If you go back on the episodes, we're 36 episodes in now. Thought he was the star man. Thought he was absolutely brilliant for the Villa. Him and Amber were a power couple with, Tommy was umming and ahhing, even though I thought he was a good guy. He wasn't with Molly May, he was with Lucy, and there was this toing and froing thing. So at the time, I thought he was a top man. But since he split up with Amber, which to most people come from nowhere, he's been acting like a complete arrogant twat, basically. Pardon my French. He's just been really, really poor show. And last night was just the absolute tip of it all. Now, the Islanders had to keep one of them, and I think it was pretty bang on. It was going to be Michael. And Joanna, when they actually picked Mike, she was just so angry with him. She called him a snake because he didn't want to go. He'd said apparently before that he wasn't going to go if he got voted. He's been in here from the start. I can see his point, but I think if you have found the one, which he'd gone out on a limb with Joanna, that he had found the one, you would pretty much go, unless he desperately needs the 50k. That is the difference. But he's in a position now. If he took a step back, and I know it happened quite quickly, or it looked like it happened quickly on the edit, who the fuck's he going to pair up with now? You've got nobody. You're paired up with nobody. No one really is going to come in. Yes, they've alluded to at the end of the episode that you've got two girls going in and one lad, one sort of last throw of the dice, I suppose, to cause a bit of shit. Whoever gets with whoever now, they're not going to win. Tommy and Molly are so far ahead. And I think if he is serious about it, I think he should swallow his pride, grow a set and just leave. I think what Joanna did was absolutely outrageous. I can't work out, and I've been thinking about this since the episode, whether she was completely right or she was an absolute psycho. But either way, it was fantastic to watch. And he did get his comeuppance. He's come across as a complete cock this last week or so. And that was a culmination. And I do also think, and I threw a tweet out, that Joanna knew this was coming. And I think she's not into it. I know David mentioned it, and I think one of our listeners had said as well, Emma Rigby had actually said that, she turned her back on him when they try and kiss and stuff like that. So I think the end of that relationship was probably more him being into her than her into him. And it was a case of just trying to nurse themselves through on the off chance they might win it. But sadly, she's gone. We didn't even see the see yous, goodbyes, anything. She just disappeared off the shot. And Michael then was just going around like a bear with a sore head. He completely went to bed, crying in the dining room, everything else. Look, he was out of order, fucking out of order. And then what made it worse for him, and I've really gone off him now, sadly, is the way he spoke to Amber. I'm sorry. I know I've said about Amber being childish and the whole situation with Anna and the way that goes, and I do think Anna's such a bad influence on her. But he fucking deserved it last night, what everyone thinks of him, because he was absolutely disgraceful. You do not go over to somebody and say, sit down. Now, we all have bad days. We all say things sometimes and just totally forget because you're caught up in the moment. I'm one of the worst for zoning out. I'm sure Sam will say I'm fucking terrible for sort of being in the zone on something. But one thing I'm not is, and I hope I'm not, and I hope people don't come on and say you are, but I'm not, is I'm not bad manners. I've been brought up with manners and respect for people. And the way he spoke to Amber, she could have quite rightly slapped him one across his face because he was a fucking bellend. There was no need for it. It was completely irrational. He got it in his head. He was so headstrong that this is it. And he was trying to prove a point to Joanna. I don't think Joanna's even watching the show anymore, pal. I think she really is waiting for the inevitable that you two are going to get back together. And I don't think he deserves to get back with Amber. Amber needs to move on. She needs to get with Ovi, like we've all said. Fuck him off, Michael, mate. Sadly, you've gone from hero to zero. And you're actually that low down now. I think you're even worse thought of than fucking Curtis. So, unfortunately, my friend, you have dropped a bollock, and it'll take a monumental U-turn now for you to get anywhere near being a fan's favourite, because I think your time is done. And if you do like Joanna, leave. But I also think, because he's fucked it, Joanna might not take him back anyway. So either way, cock. C-O-C-K. So, a bit of a rant there, guys. Sorry, I know we've usually got Dave on the other side, or we had Joe, Asa, we've had Ed on, giving their opinion. This is just how I felt about last night. I thought it was quite a good episode. I think the three people coming in, I knew this had happened. I mentioned it to Dave. Obviously, Dave's never seen the show properly till this series. And I said, this is what usually happens. They get people coming in. And I don't know what it is, but I just can't see anything happening. The only one I think might turn, and then he will become hated, is Anton. I think the doubts he's having over Belle, because of the way she reacts to stuff, as Joel mentioned yesterday, and I totally agreed. She was very much GC, Gemma Collins, totally ridiculous, going all gangster on him. He deserved the fucking, no doubt about it, but we all realised it was a setup. We all said it. But I think Anton may be the one to turn. Michael possibly could. Don't think he will, to be honest. He may leave before then. I'm not too sure. But I think his head's turning now. I think Michael's made such a poor error of judgment, and you read what you saw. But yeah, getting back to the new ones, it's very difficult to come in at this point. They're just going to be there to stir some shit up, to be honest. I don't buy it. I don't buy into it. I like it for the show. I like it to cause a bit of doubt between anybody. I'm not going to see Tommy or Molly splitting up anytime soon. And I think, obviously, Ovi and Amber now need to move on after all that shit show we saw. So that'll be quite interesting. Now, also, I do want to talk about what I said yesterday with Joe, and we both discussed about being fake. Now, having watched it tonight, I believe that was genuine. The reaction of Joanna with Michael was completely genuine. I think that's something that's built, as I'm just going back to it, just more a case of the show itself, not about them two. I've discussed them obviously previously. More a case of, I think the reactions and everything else was completely genuine. Now also, we had the Curtis and Maura coupling up, which I've got to say is the most disingenuous fucking coupling up I have ever seen. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, she'll go all doughy-eyed on him, but unfortunately, Maura, you try before you buy. I've called you DFS. At the end of the day, 7 people she's done that to, 7 lads she's got in some sort of relationship or some sort of interaction with them. I just think this is just to ride out the storm till the end. I don't think either of them are completely compatible. I don't think there's anything between them, to be honest, but maybe we're not seeing something that they are, because the hour that we see of edited show, they just look like this fuck all there. And it's more, I think Maura doesn't like losing, if I'm being completely honest, and she doesn't want Francesca getting one over on her. And Francesca obviously picked Curtis, and, away we go. So great TV. And I think, to be fair, I think Francesca's actually come out of it quite well, to be honest. I think she dealt with it perfectly. There's no other way you can do it. I think she's probably, unless she teams up with Michael to stay in the villa, or this new lad who's coming in on tomorrow's episode, I think she's going to be gone. And I think Chris as well, now that the recoupling, it's going to be Curtis and Maura, unless Chris does a bit of a snidey tactic and still picks Maura to leave Curtis. That could be a twist, but we'll see. Now, big thanks, guys. We're on episode 36. You've had me on my own today, so it's only a shorter episode. We are doing a Love Island Cast USA, which is available on this same podcast catcher URL, so there's no need to look for it anywhere else. They are numbered separately and they're numbered sequentially as well. So I think we're on to episode 5, which will be later on today for the Love Island USA. And obviously, if you want to follow the show and contact myself and Dave on Twitter, it's at Love Island Cast, or if you want to email the show, the loveislandcast@gmail.com. Now, tomorrow, I'm hoping I'll have a special guest on. We may have Asa back on because he's chomping at the bit to get back on to talk about all the shenanigans in the actual villa. And then Dave will be back with us on Thursday once he's got all his business out of the way. I'm hoping that he's going to come back. He's either going to end up in the villa, highly unlikely, as likely as me going in there, or he's going to tell me that we're doing a world tour of Love Island podcasts, and that could be the dream for us both. So thanks again, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Big thanks to everyone listening. Fantastic following for us. In fact, let me just read out another email that we got from one of our listeners, which is fantastic. This is from Nicole, and she's from Switzerland. And I love the fact that people are sending in where they're from, and we've actually got listeners around the world. So if you are listening from a different country outside the UK or US, please email the show, the loveislandcast@gmail.com again. So her email is, here's another country to add to your list. Hey there, greetings from Switzerland. I've been listening to you since the start of this season, and now twice daily because of Love Island USA. I was very excited when you decided to cover the American version as well. You guys crack me up so much, and the giggles between you two are hilarious. I usually share the same views on the Islanders as you. One thing I wanted to mention was about the lad challenge where the boys had to do squats. Ovi didn't choose Anna. He had to take her because at that point they were still coupled up. Only the single guys got to choose freely. Curtis, I can't even. I hope he gets voted off soon. I hope Amber and Ovi win the whole thing. Tommy annoyed the heck out of me with the whole Anton thing. It was just banter. Brilliant email, Nicole. Thank you so much. And that's a great point regarding Ovi and Anna, because I didn't even realise that. I obviously slipped by, so I stand corrected on that. So thank you very much, Nicole. And all I can say to you guys is, if your name's Michael, you're 27, you're a fireman from Liverpool, I think you need to go and find your woman. See you later.